Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Samp&Chance Wrestling. My name is Bobby Sampson, joined as always, my man with the master plan. I believe that's a Manny Pacquiao shirt.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's right.
fantastic, man. Love it, love it.
Yeah, not bad.
Mr. Chance Michaels, ladies and gentlemen. If I had a audio mixer, I'd do the applause.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey, there you go, brother. The reason I'm going to give you that applause, I know we're a wrestling show, but I wanted to touch on it. Last week in the boxing pool, you took a super long shot. And man, up until that 10th or ninth round, we had, I'm gonna say we, I'm gonna hop on your
Yeah,
back,
it's for both of us. Yeah.
right? But I mean you made the pick and we came
I
close,
don't
bro.
regret it. It was the right pick. Hooney, he got knocked out, but he's winning the fight. He should have never have engaged in the 12th round like that.
Yeah,
But he's a warrior, so he went for it. But he just would have backed off and danced around. He had the fight easily, unanimous.
a
But he
hundred
went for it and
percent.
got caught.
We'll talk about it in the next show here for boxing, but I just wanted to point that out. I think the wrestling fans should know this as well as the boxing fans. So
Yeah.
good stuff, good stuff. All right, brother man, we had money in the bank. The return of all returns happened at Money at the Bank. We'll get into that a little bit here as well. But Money in the Bank, what did you think of the show overall?
It was average. There's a couple good matches, a couple duds. The Dominic Mysterio match was that's an absolute filler. Nobody knew who that. I didn't know what was the name of the guy he wrestled. I didn't even know who he was. Um,
Octagon Junior.
yeah, I didn't like that match. Thought that was boring. That was probably the weak spot of the night. That was a filler. Um,
Well, to be fair, if you watch Worlds Collide, you saw how they built that match up really quick. And yes, it was thrown together really quick, but nonetheless,
but nobody watches the World Collide. Like not the vast
the
majority of
numbers were
people,
good
right?
for it, bro. To be completely fair, maybe you didn't watch it, fair enough, but a lot of
Yeah,
people did. A lot of people were
yeah.
on
But
it.
the vast majority of people tuning in to see Logan Paul and John Cena, they didn't know who these Doctor Octagon and Iguana guys are. It's just a little
Mr.
goofy,
Iguana
right?
rules, man. All I'm gonna say, he's become one of my favorite guys. I love Mr. Iguana.
Yeah, no, he's funny, but I'm saying so. I didn't really like that match. That's not a pay per view match. There's no story behind it. That what they did with Mysterio and Octagon, that's AEW booking. Throwing a match together that makes no sense just because they're two Mexican guys. So that was the weak spot. Another thing, we called that Seth was going to win. I didn't like that Seth won. I didn't even like that Seth was in the match. I think Bronson Reed or Breaker should have been in that match. One of those guys should have got the briefcase. Seth does not need it. He's almost 40. We don't need to see Seth and Cena again or Seth and Gunther. Here's the problem now. We have two heel champions, Gunther and Cena, and now we have a heel with the Money in the Bank. So I don't know, man. This booking is so 50-50.
Well,
It's so chaotic.
I look at it this way. I mean, okay, I'm glad you brought that up because I was shocked that Gunther won. I didn't think he was going to win last night. He did. So, spoiler for people who haven't seen Raw, Gunther beat Jey Uso last night. Great match. I have to say, it was a great match. Go back and watch it. It was good, phenomenal, but was not what I was expecting. So
But
the
what
swerve.
I think, yeah, but I don't think they gave Jay enough time. 6 weeks is not enough time. Jay is not a very good worker in the ring. He's slow. If you watch that tag team match, he was by far the slowest guy.
Well, look,
But here's what they should have done. If Gunther's going to win the match, fine. Have Kaiser come out, lay out Gunther, turn Gunther face, and away we go with this. You can't have two heel champions and you
no,
can't have a heel with Money in the Bank. It just doesn't make sense.
okay, and I think the path of Gunther becoming a face is starting. Okay, I think this is where they're going. Kaiser laying him out makes no sense because there's be no animosity amongst them, sort of a deal.
But
Um,
that's how you turn him face right on the spot.
yeah, you could do that, but I think this is going to be a gradual thing with Gunther. You've already seen hints of it in the last few months. Jay was champion for a total of 51 days. So again, this is one of those moments where they gave him his moment at WrestleMania, bless you.
Mm-hmm.
And he did what he had to do. I mean, he was a workhorse while he had the title. Give him that much. Um, you
But
know,
the thing is, like, you're taking the Gunther's not that popular. Like, people like him, but he's not as over as the Yi thing is huge. So to take you're putting the belt back on a guy who was not a very good champion prior to Uso. You're giving it back to him again. You're going right back to the well. It makes no sense. Somebody else should have had that belt. It shouldn't have been Gunther because he wasn't a very good champion prior. Not saying he's not a great worker, but they didn't book him very well. Look
well,
at Gunther's last matches. He lost to Sammy freaking Zayn.
let's see what they do.
Okay.
Let's see.
And then
Let's
then he had a match with an announcer. and then he lost to Jey Uso, and this is your champion. This is what I'm saying. Triple H is so clueless. He's so over his head. His booking is so schizophrenic. It makes no sense. You can't have Gunther have those kind of matches and then all of a sudden beat your heavyweight champion. It waters the belt down and makes it seem insignificant when I look at it like that.
Yeah, possibly. But
If
again,
you can't beat Sami Zayn and you barely beat Pat McAfee, and then you lost to Uso, and all of a sudden you're the new champ, it just doesn't make any sense.
well, I mean, it's a world of professional wrestling. Is it supposed to make
No,
sense
I know, but
sometimes?
it's like, yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
I
It's very
get you. I get you,
schizophrenic.
bro. I hear what you're
Yeah.
saying, but I think
Mhm.
if anything, if Gunther does end up going up against a Seth Rollins or a John Cena, or sorry, in that situation,
Mhm.
hey, guest appearance by Baby Girl.
Yep. No,
Um,
I think we're gonna see I think Seth's gonna cash in on Gunther.
I think so too, and I think that's the match to make. And I don't know. We'll see where this goes. This only happened, right?
Mhm.
Um, but let's talk about the John Cena Logan Paul match with those two, Uso and Cody. I thought the match started off slow, but it started
Mhm.
to pick up, and the momentum was there. The one thing that kind of took me aback a little bit was the dissension between Logan and Cena, which was not evident throughout the whole buildup of this thing, right? Uh,
Yeah.
to see that kind of happen was kind of it was an interesting dynamic. You got
I
two
think they just did it like we got two jerks, we're two egomaniacs. I'm the
exactly.
alpha, you're the alpha, I'm the star, you're the star, we can't get along, and then they can just split up and ride
Well,
off. Probably why they did
if
that, I guess.
SummerSlam, Logan versus Cena.
I think we're gonna see. Yeah, that could be.
I'm just
Could be.
saying, you're just throwing it out there. You don't, you at some point we're gonna have to. Again, I could be completely wrong. I'm just basing it on the wrestling of history. Will Cena retire a heel, or will they chain him back? Will he go back to being hustle, loyalty, respect guy? That's what I'm
Mhm.
curious about. Does he leave the business as a mean guy or a good guy?
I'm not sure on that. It's hard to say.
It's hard to call, right? But
I think we might see John Cena versus Punk at Mania too here. It's possible. I
well,
don't know what they're doing.
Punk and Cena are fighting at Night of Champions in Saudi.
That's good. Get that out of the way then.
It's an interesting one here because 5 years ago, and they're playing off of this now. Okay, so if you saw the promo last night, great
Yeah,
promo.
I did.
Two of the best guys on the stick in the business, just in terms of clarity and
That are still going. Yeah.
delivery that are still going. Great stuff, man. And you know what? It was nostalgic to see the two of them back together again in that sense. But the roles are reversed. It's kind of funny. Punk says, I'm the punk rock guy, and it looks like I'm the one who's here to protect the establishment, but that's not the case. He's here for the people, he says.
Mhm.
But it's a really interesting dynamic here because Cena, and they're playing off of this. In 2020, CM Punk made comments to the Miz saying, "You guys can go to Saudi Arabia and have your blood money." Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
He was
you're going with this.
completely
Yeah.
against it. Now Cena says, "Hey, you want to fight me?" Because Punk says, "Hey, let's do it tonight."
Mhm.
Right? Cena goes, "No, let's do it at Night of Champions, which is in Saudi Arabia."
I like
And
it.
the
Yeah.
way Cena delivered it, the way Cena framed it, was like, "Hey, are you gonna go
Take that
against
blood
your
money.
own morals or go for
Mhm.
that blood money because you want this belt?" So I like that
If
dynamic.
I was writing for John Cena, I know he writes his own stuff. He doesn't need to write it, but I would suggest to him, you say to CM Punk this: you have no morals. Your morals are you have no morals. You sell out for money. You sold out to AEW for money. You came back here with your tail between your legs for money.
Hey, and
You
you know
know,
what?
expose that guy.
As they build
Yeah,
this
he
up,
did in a roundabout way. He did kind of say that.
and I think he will a bit more as we go on here. Now, back to their
Cena
tag
also
team match.
Cena also took a real shot at R-Truth when he said, "You're
He took
nothing
a
but a
shot
comedic
at the
relief."
universe, man.
And that was real. That's it. That's him shooting from the hip.
No, dude, and you know what? We'll
You'll
talk
forget
about
about
that.
this guy in here. He's a comedy act, which is true.
Brother, we're jumping all over the place, but we'll get to that. All right, so let's just quickly finish this recap up really quick here. So the match, in my opinion, I think that tag match started off slow. I was just kind of waiting, just watching. But then it started to pick up and things started to move really nicely. A lot of close calls, a lot of close, pinfalls. What you want from a match like that.
That moonsault off the second rope by Logan onto the table was so effortlessly, so beautifully done.
No, it was
Wow,
beautifully done, but let's
beautiful.
call it what it is. The man flubbed a couple times in the match too. But that's okay. These things happen.
Yeah, he slipped on the rope there. Yeah,
Yeah, but I mean, it was so evident though. They couldn't even change the camera angle, but they recovered nicely from it. I got to give them that.
Mhm.
You could see he was a little like, oh, for a moment there. If you go look at the
Yeah,
watch it
yeah, yeah.
back,
He was surprised it happened, but
yeah,
he's so
yeah.
high flying, it's gonna happen.
But what I liked about it was the fact that he bounced back and he got back right into it. It didn't deter him. It
No.
didn't rattle him, and I like that. I respect to him for that, right?
Mhm.
Overall, though, I thought the match was good, and then the return. Now, one thing I knew right off the bat, I knew it was our truth, and I don't mean to come off sounding discriminatory or anything, but if you're gonna have a guy come in, make sure his whole body's covered. When you see the darkness of the skin, I knew right away. Once his pant leg came up and his shirt came up a little bit, I'm like, oh shit, that's truth. That's a
Yeah,
brother, right? Like that's a black guy. So who
yeah.
else is it going to be? There's no other black guy in the business right now, and he's too small to look like Apollo Cruz,
Mhm.
right? I mean,
Well,
they're
it could have
really
been
short.
one of the
They're
street
really short
profits
on
there.
black athletes, eh?
Well, they got the street profits. They got Omos. They're not really using them though.
Well,
It doesn't make
apart
sense.
from the apart from the street profits, really, who else is there in truth?
I guess Carmelo Hayes is mixed, I guess,
I
if you want
guess
to
so.
say
And then you
him.
got the New Day. Okay, but still, it seems
Yeah.
like yeah, it's a few. Okay, I'll retract that maybe.
Mhm. But they
Um,
got a lot of, Naomi, Jade,
yeah,
Bianca. So,
well, a
yeah.
lot of girls on the girls' side, definitely.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, I mean,
So
truth coming
nobody knew that.
back.
Nobody thought R-Truth was going to come back with it. But yeah, once he came out, then you knew it was him. But nobody saw that coming. Here's the thing: there's so many. Like I've been saying this many for over a year now. What Triple H does from Gorilla is he goes on X and he reads the comments, and I read them too. And all it was, we want truth, we want truth. You're a sellout, you're a sellout. So I'm pretty sure Triple H, Ari Shapiro, Khan, whoever it was, also we got to bring them back. The
Okay,
problem with this is the fans are controlling the show now. And here's the problem: if we would have had Triple H 10 years ago, we would have never have had a John Cena. We would have never have had a Roman Reigns because McMahon would tell you, "I know who the stars are. These are your stars," and it works out beautifully 9 times out of 10. Triple H's method is, you guys tell me who the stars are because I don't know what I'm doing. So if you say we need R-Truth, we need him. If you say Cody Rhodes is the champ, he's the champ. And the marks are controlling wrestling now, and that's the problem. The X crowd, my favorite social media app. I love Elon, but they control wrestling. They get on there and they hashtag R-Truth, and WWE caves. And now you got a
okay,
55-year-old man back in the main picture.
okay. So I'm gonna step back a couple of steps here with you here. I don't disagree that the marks are trying to do what they're doing. I get that, but I'll send you the article off the air.
Mm-hmm.
Triple H was not happy with any of this. Okay, this was a purely a Mark Shapiro, Ari, and Nick Khan. Nick Khan was the one who actually reached out to him and brought him back. It wasn't Triple H. Word has it backstage amongst talent that he was not happy with the return because he doesn't want, like you said, the
What's going on
IWC
now? Yeah.
to undermine booking. We saw this with Daniel Bryan. We
Yeah.
saw this, with Daniel Bryan and now R-Truth, right? No one else has gotten that
Cody
privilege,
Rhodes,
right? Well,
the Cody
okay, with
Crybaby,
the
they changed
title,
the main
with the
event.
title thing, okay, maybe, but bringing back a released talent, not even
Mm-hmm.
Bray got this treatment,
True.
okay.
Who is 10 times the talent of R-Truth.
And arguably, yes,
I
absolutely,
like
right.
R-Truth. Don't get me wrong. He's fun
No, no,
once a
no, I
month
love
for a
our truth
comedy,
too, but you know
but
what?
not all the time.
This is again a case of nobody should be bigger than the business. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
not saying WWE, I'm not saying AEW, I'm talking wrestling,
Yeah.
wrestling as a whole. Nobody is bigger than wrestling. Even Vince would tell you, I'm
Vince
not
said
bigger.
that all the time. Nothing's
I'm
bigger than the
not,
business. Yeah.
nobody is bigger than wrestling. So by
Yeah.
doing this, what's Carlito feel now? Well, why can't I come back?
So
But I'm just
if you
saying,
No,
like
you're right.
we're
So if you watch that press conference, these people, so they select who's allowed in there to ask Triple H questions. They're not going to let anybody in there who's going to ask a good question.
yeah,
So the one guy did say, "Was this a work? What did you really thought truth?" And Triple H played. He goes, "It's all part of the show, brother." Like he's downplaying
you
it. But
had
then the
to.
guy should have said, "So wait a minute. What about Carlito? That was not real." But these guys, these wrestling, whatever you want to call them, journalists, they don't want to ask a tough question. If they ask Triple H a tough question, guess what? They're not allowed to the next press conference.
Yeah,
So
no,
kiss his
and
butt.
no, and that's the problem here, right? Like, but those that's why those press conferences shouldn't happen because
No,
there's
they need to be done with
right.
that.
It's not like UFC where it's real fighting, and no
Yeah,
disrespect to wrestling, you
yeah,
get
yeah, yeah.
hurts, knocks, everything, but it's predominantly scripted,
Triple
right?
H needs to come out there He should have came out on Raw, grabbed the mic from Archer. I didn't want you here. You're washed up. You're an old man. This is TKO. We don't need you here. And then heel Triple H because he is. Most people think like I know the talent love him, but he is like he's kind of a jerk. He's kind of
He's
a
a
snake.
natural heel.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So he's done so many questionable things in the world of
Sure,
wrestling.
sure.
So why not come out and be the jerk? The fans are turning on you already. Read the
Yeah,
room.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
come out there and this is your chance to do McMahon and Austin. You could do with Triple H and R-Truth, have a little punching kicking match for a minute, and he'd be fine.
Possibly. Well, so like I said, I like to see what they do.
I
So
mean, he's on every camera, he's on every show, he's on every press conference. He takes stop. You know one thing I can't stand about the guy? Stop taking pictures with every talent and posting one X. Like so, last night after all, what does Triple H do? Grabs R-Truth. They do this thing, right? So it's like, come on, dude, stay in the background, focus on your job, please.
well, I mean, that's his style. I mean,
No, I
everyone
get
has
it. He's
their own
trying to
style,
change it
right?
up.
I mean, and I guess he
It's
has
becoming
to.
corny.
It is what it is. The world we live in, bro. It's the world we live in
No, I
terms
know.
of
I'm just saying,
media
like,
and
so right,
everything.
what's
To be
happening.
fair, if Vince and those guys had the technology that's here today, I'm sure a lot of that would be happening as well.
But he needs to focus on because he's not writing good stories anymore. He's throwing random matches that make no sense. Last night, example, what is AJ Styles doing fighting Chad Gable? They just threw a match
Well,
together. It makes no
no,
sense.
not
And
really.
AJ beats
It
him.
goes back to a couple of weeks ago where he fought America Grande and lost to him because the story is he's never lost to Chad Gable in his career,
Mhm.
right? So that's kind of what they're building it off of. AJ's kind of in limbo right now. He doesn't got a program this way or that way. He's just kind of trying to find what's going to work for him.
Mhm.
Not defending it, but that's I'm just trying to tell you what the
Yeah,
basic
yeah, yeah, yeah,
side
yeah.
is.
So like the average guy who's watching has no idea why they're fighting,
Yeah. Okay,
and
so
we have no idea. Like so now what? Our Truth's gonna have a program with John Cena, but now we have John Cena versus Roman Reigns. So what's our Truth gonna do now?
Cody Rhodes, or sorry, CM Punk.
Yes, we have CM Punk for Cena, but our Truth came back now. He's mad at John Cena. So who's our Truth gonna have a program with now?
I think Cena. I think it's gonna probably end up coming back around to Cena again. Maybe this might be that thing that we were talking about. How do we get the title off of him? We talked about this before he actually got released and whatnot. That maybe Truth might be the best guy, a Mick Foley kind of moment. Give him the title for one day, let him run with it for the Saturday, Sunday, drop it on the Monday. You know what I mean? Sort of a deal. But I mean, if this is how I don't know what they're gonna do, dude.
The
I
one
don't.
thing I noticed about this new era of TKO, they miss so many little things. You had a chance last night to have Triple H come out there and be the jerk that we all think he is, marrying the boss's daughter, politicking backstage. We all know the story. Could have come out there and blasted R-Truth. You're an old man. I didn't want you here. You don't belong here.
Hey, I get you,
Get some
dude.
real heat. And then, but
So
like they missed that. They dropped the ball with that. So
but they dropped.
now the R-Truth thing, momentum that you have is going to fade.
Well, let's see what they do, man. I mean, the guy hopped up on the stage. He says he talked about R-Truth in the third person. He's referring to himself as Ron Killings now.
Mm.
He's coming back, trying to be a bit more of a serious character. Chopped off all the dreads, man.
Yeah, I saw that on live on there. Yeah.
Right? He chopped off all his hair. It's kind of like a rebirth, almost like a Britney Spears at the beauty salon shaving her head,
Mhm.
kind of a deal. So again, we're all speculating. So I
I know,
will.
but what I'm saying is like I don't know what they're going to do because nobody knows the way these guys write. Anything
Yeah.
can happen. I don't know what
Well,
they're doing, but I'm
I,
saying when I'm watching these shows, they miss so many
hey, dude,
opportunities.
they missed be missing opportunities since TKO took over.
Oh,
Everyone said, "Oh,
uh,
this is great," blah blah blah, and we've talked about this off the air.
mhm.
TKO is running the company into the ground right now.
Yeah, they're ruining WWE.
They're ruining WWE just as the product as well, overall, generally, in my opinion. But the other portion of it is by eliminating house shows, because we are talking about this yesterday. I think it was yesterday
Mm,
or Saturday. I can't remember. You and I were
mm,
chatting about this, and I said to you, I said, "Hey, dude, how can they be losing money hand over fist like they're claiming?" And then it kind of hit me. I said to you, well, think about it. They have guaranteed 2 shows a week, right?
mhm.
So that's 8 shows guaranteed a month. Then you throw in NXT, which is another, so that's 12 shows that they run. Granted, the NXTs are in their kind of performance center, so they don't have to
Yeah, move
venture too
around. Yeah.
far out. But how much is the production for each show? This and that. This is where the virtue of the house shows paid off. This
Hmm.
supplemented the payments and everything, in my opinion, for the rigs, for the setup, for everything else that you do for the other shows, plus the pay per view. So if you're putting more money into the production and everything than you are in anything else. And yeah, maybe you're not making money because UFC.
Not to mention all the house shows would also not always go to Vancouver. Sometimes they also go to small towns where you could go
Yeah,
see them.
yeah,
You could build a kid fan base from there. They're not coming to these towns anymore.
they're
So that's
not.
another thing. They're distancing themselves from the average Joe.
They are completely right. I mean,
So,
they've locked out the real fan.
mhm.
They truly have. Like every event, even something like I don't know. Oh gosh, give me a run of the mill, a Great American Bash.
Yeah,
Okay, average pay per view arena show,
yeah,
not stadium show, arena show. You're still looking at an average of $1,000 for a nosebleed.
I know it's insane.
It used to be $50. Worst case scenario.
Dude, I paid $35 for SummerSlam 2021 at Allegiant Stadium.
There you go. That's what I'm
$35
talking about.
American,
That's what I'm
60
talking
bucks
about.
Canadian. I don't know. Walk
Right.
right
So
up, bought a
SummerSlam,
ticket. Here you go, sir.
SummerSlam
And that
was how
had Brock
much?
Lesnar, John Cena, all the big
How
boys.
much did you pay?
$35 for the
What year?
first ever summer 2021 for Allegiant Stadium,
Okay,
Vegas.
2021, right?
35 bucks.
$35. Okay. Fast forward 4 years, WrestleMania. I get it. It's a bigger show.
Mm-hmm.
$1,500 to two thousand
Mm-hmm.
dollars a night.
Even SummerSlam, you're not getting it for more than $600-700 now.
Oh, dude, it's gonna be more expensive because it's gonna be at MetLife and it's a 2 night show.
Yet all these guys are online cheering on when Vince left. Oh, we got he's gone. Okay, well then you want to pay 1,000 times more for a ticket, you fools? Like, come on, man.
Yeah, but these are the fools
Insane.
that aren't going to the shows now.
Yeah, they're running it up for everybody else. I
And you and
know.
I aren't rich people per se, but we can't even afford it.
No, it's insane.
Like
Two
we're
thousand
okay.
dollar
Don't get me
weekend.
wrong, we're okay. We're not
Yeah,
like
we're middle class. Yeah.
right, but I mean, we even for us, it's too much.
Wrestling shouldn't be wrestling's not supposed to be like that, dude.
No, it shouldn't.
This is not game seven of the World Series or a Super Bowl. Wrestling should be $100 tops, $150 here in the building. Unless sitting like 10 rows back. This is
Dude, if you're
insane.
front row, look, I think anything for the first 10 rows on the floor,
Hmm.
fine. $15
Yeah, I
and
get that. Yeah.
that's different. But once you get past that hockey barrier, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? The glass,
Yeah.
and you're behind the glass,
Hmm.
nothing more than 500 all the way up and getting lower and lower and lower.
Insane, dude.
Like
It's
you're
sad.
taking away from the true fans, and who buys all the merch? Kids.
Kids.
You're keeping them
You
away.
can't bring your it's hard to bring your whole family to shows. You can once in a while, but not all the time anymore.
But you know what, though? I think that's just a sign of the times across the board. I mean, I haven't taken the family to a movie in a while,
Hmm.
but I hear it can get very expensive to even go to a movie now, man.
You put well,
You're
for you,
looking
for
at
you.
15 $20 a ticket. So let's say for three of us, it's $60 just for admission, roughly.
Yeah.
Then you want popcorn. I know that shit's another $30 for a drink, two drinks, and a jumbo popcorn.
You're looking at about 150.
Easy for a movie.
I know. I know. It's
And then they
crazy.
wonder why people steal streams and stuff like that. Well, make it affordable.
I think eventually movies will fade out because everything's streaming now. Go right to Netflix, right to Amazon. The movie theaters will be like CDs, be the way of the past.
No, I appreciate that. And it makes me sad because some of the best stuff happened in movie theaters, man.
Yeah, I enjoy going to the theater. I even like the wrestling papers that were in the theaters. I
Yeah,
enjoyed those
yeah.
too.
Like, I mean, I came from a time where movies were 450 Tuesdays.
Hmm. We used to have Toonie Tuesdays in Abbotsford for our movies.
I remember that real old rundown theater down by King Road, right?
Yeah, McCallum. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
King
yeah.
Road McCallum. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, back to wrestling. Back to wrestling. We haven't even talked about the two Money in the Bank matches, man. So Seth wins. I called it. I said Seth would
We
win,
both
but
called
with
it. Yeah.
outside interference, though. I called the
Yeah.
outside interference. I said there's no way he's going to win this clean.
Yeah.
And
I just wish that Bronson or Breaker within the match instead of Seth. Seth didn't need to be in there. I thought you could have put in Breaker or Bronson, and one of those guys should have had it. And that would have made the faction even more stronger. Seth
no,
didn't need it.
no. But I think the way they're selling the story, this and that, eventually those two are going to turn on Seth.
Yeah. And Seth's
Right?
going to go face. Yeah.
Exactly, right? So, right now they're being the company man, and considering Bronson Reed holding the case like he's a lackey, considering
Mhm.
you beat the shit out of this guy before you got injured,
Yeah.
and now you're back holding his fucking luggage.
Mhm.
It's crazy, just crazy.
Yeah. And some people were complaining that I'm kind of glad Naomi won. Some people were complaining that she won. because they're kind of retreading Naomi and Seth when they could have given it to one of the younger talents, maybe.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. Well,
I mean,
like I
Naomi is
said,
a hot healer right now. I don't
dude,
really blame them on that, but
no, no, and I don't have a problem with it either. But like I said, you looked at the work of Julia, Stephanie Vacquer, Roxanne Perez. I mean, the three young girls, even Alexa Bliss, she's been out for a while. They all look great. I mean, if I
yeah,
had to pick between the two matches, I thought the women put on the better Money in the Bank overall. I just think it just seemed more fluid.
they had
It
better
looks like
chemistry.
they had better chemistry. They were
Yeah.
hitting harder. Those girls just were relentless with those ladders. Those things aren't soft,
Thanks for
man.
bringing that up. So we're sitting here saying that the women, not saying women can't hit hard, but men hit harder than women, right? So
Yeah,
that's why we have different weight classes. We have men
yeah,
don't
yeah.
wrestle women, men don't fight women. So these women are trying harder and hitting harder than the men. That shouldn't happen. These guys weren't working hard enough. I'm glad you brought that up. I noticed
Well,
that too.
when I was on
They
the main
wanted it
event,
more,
I was
right?
on our main event roundtable last week talking about it, and I said if you look at the men's Money in the Bank, take nothing away from any of those guys in that match, but it didn't look exciting to me. You know,
No, I didn't. I don't. They just didn't gel well. Those group of guys together. I don't know what it was.
now the one thing we didn't touch on very quickly, we finally saw Jacob Plateau turn.
Yep,
Right,
it
he
was
came
coming.
out. So basically, this stems back to SmackDown the night before. They had one of those vignettes segments backstage. Solo's talking to JC Mateo, and
Mm,
he goes, "Is he going to get on page with us?" And Solo basically just runs down Jacob. Says he
yeah,
needs me. He's a dumb dumb. Blah 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 blah. Of course, who comes out of the wings after the conversation? Jacob. Those who came out to help out. Do you think Solo after Bronson and Bronson and Braun come out?
Braun. Yeah,
And yeah, he destroys Solo, man. So now we gotta face Jacob.
I like that. I like that
I
was
like
well
that.
done. I like that.
And you know what? The way Jacob is being going and the way he's building up and building that rapport with the crowd, that guy will be a contender for one of those world titles, a legit good contender.
Eventually, yeah,
Right.
he's on
So
his
I'm
way
looking
there.
forward to that. I'm looking forward to that. So that was Money in the Bank. We have Ron Killings returning. We're gonna call him Ron Killings now.
Just calling
Uh
himself, right?
well, that's what he's calling himself. He's shaved his head. Well, I don't know if he shaved his head, but he chopped off all the dreads. Those are all gone. Makes me wonder though, were those real or were those just extensions?
They're all extensions.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. My
Let's
thing
hope.
is, when's the last time R-Truth had a match before John Cena? He barely wrestles, right? He just kind of comes out with his goofy stuff, right? So that's why he's so fresh. He barely wrestles.
Well, that too, I guess. But I mean, how if he had a full-time schedule of wrestling, I don't think he would be in.
Oh, his body would break down. He'd be
Yeah,
done.
yeah. But
Yeah.
let's see what they do. Again, we have to wait and see. We can criticize now and talk about it. The only criticism I have is I don't appreciate. Again, I like Truth a lot, but no one's bigger than the business. If you're released, stay released.
Well, he probably realized I'm 55, 53, whatever it is. Nobody's going to really want me. So what am I going to do? I might as well come back for a couple bucks, I guess.
Well, he doesn't need the money. He's got a lot of businesses outside of wrestling.
Oh,
He's
he's
got
made
a
a
lot
lot
of
of
other
money.
things, right? Huh? Pardon?
He's made a lot of money.
He's still making a lot of money. He's got all his other ventures and everything. This is just gravy, right? And
Yeah.
the worst part is, and this is where I really get interested now, is the fact that the WWF, WWE, WWE kept calling it a work. Oh, trying to make you think it's a work. But our truth, his kids are all on X, your favorite
Hmm.
platform,
Hands
saying
down.
no,
Yeah.
no
It
cap,
was legit. Mhm.
right? It was a legit release. Like, you guys can't play it like that.
I
But
don't know why R-Truth didn't come out and write a statement. Hey guys, thanks for my time. I had 20 years here. Thank you. He could have squashed it, but he kept that heat going to get himself back, and he kind of weaseled his way back in a weird way through the fans.
but the fact that he thanked the fans, we did, but that's wrong. That's just
I
wrong.
know.
That's a wrong message in wrestling in general,
Yeah.
right? I don't care who it is. It could have been Undertaker. It could have been Triple H. It could have been.
Anybody.
It could. Who's your favorite wrestler ever?
Hogan or Flair, man. I love them both.
Okay, what if they got released?
I'll be like, well, they're getting old, man. It's time to move on to the next guy. And they're way bigger stars than Truth will ever be.
Okay, so even you can agree with me on this. I like Truth, but he shouldn't be here.
I totally agree with that. He's 50.
Only
You know what?
it
You've
has
been here for
nothing to do with
20
age.
years.
Nothing to do with age. Nothing to do with age. Nothing to do
Mhm.
with any of it. You're released. You get released. You stay released until they decide to bring you back.
Yeah.
or they offer you a contract. Not like this. This is wrong. This sends a wrong message to wrestling fans around the world. This sends a, it just strengthens a segment of the wrestling community that now
Well,
thinks that they can do whatever they want.
the next time somebody gets released, if they like, they're gonna do this again.
But see, this is it. Now they're setting themselves up, right? So again, let's see where they go with this. I know Triple H wasn't happy. I'll send you the article so you can see it
You know, he
yourself.
because he had no he they let him go because they had nothing for him. Now they're forced to throw him in the storylines now.
Well, let's see what they're going to do with him. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll see how it goes. Maybe we won't see him for a couple of weeks in typical WWE manner, right? I mean, we've seen this with John Cena since he turned heel. There's been a couple of times where he should have been out there, but John nailed it on the head, man, and I can't say he's wrong. The you guys should have been calling for someone else that can give me something. I mean, he tried to make it into a story, but I know
Yeah.
what he's saying, right? Like, and he loves R-Truth more than anybody.
Well, they're great buddies. But here's the thing: they're missing something here. There's nothing exciting in WWE right now. There's nothing that grips you. The only thing they can do right now is heel Triple H needs to happen. You don't have to wrestle. You just got to come out there and be that real jerk. Say, I didn't want you here. They forced me. I'm glad Vince is gone. I married his daughter. I used him. Like, just play everything that we're always saying about you and come out and, dude, you'll shake the whole place up.
And you know what?
You'll make it
Maybe they
exciting
will.
again.
And maybe they will. We'll see how this goes, man. Because I mean, it seems like all signals are pointing that direction at some point here.
The arrows are
Let's see how
pointing
they
at
play
Triple
it
H.
out.
Yeah.
Let's see how they play it out. All right, brother man. I tell you what, we've been clamoring on and on and on.
Last thing I got to say, they got to start bringing up some young talent. Seth didn't need to win Money in the Bank. You don't need a 55-year-old R-Truth. We need Bronson Reed. We need Braun Breaker. We need Austin Theory. We need Carmelo Hayes. We need
Yeah,
those kind of
and
guys.
they're there. They're there.
Yeah, but use them
Hey,
more.
so backstage before we walk away from here, there looks like they're setting up dissension between A Down Under.
Yeah, it's good.
Right? You see them breaking up in the back in the segments there, this and that. So for our friends in America, here in Canada, we don't get commercials at Raw. So
No,
what they do during the commercial break, we get all these different segments. We get special interviews. We get all these different things that they're doing. If a match is going on, they continue with the match.
yeah,
Right. So we don't miss anything. Like literally, we're there for the whole thing.
yeah. You're gonna
So
Grayson will stay the bad guy, and we're gonna see Theory come as a good guy.
yeah, so I think something like that's gonna happen. Or you know what? Like I said, I still think that Tyson should be a part of that faction. He's the
Tyson
missing
Waller.
cog.
Yeah.
He's the missing cog, in my opinion. Reason being, you got two huge powerhouse men,
Oh yeah.
but you don't have anyone with. I mean, Seth has finesse and technique, but you need another guy like that, a young version of that.
I totally agree. Bring him up. It's like an evolution, right? Put one more guy in there, a younger guy, and then this is like the new evolution. You know what I
I
mean?
think so, and I think
And get ready. They don't need Paul Heyman. You need to take a break. They don't need him.
let's see
You got
how it
four guys.
plays
Don't
out.
need. It's too crowded with them.
Let's see how it all
My opinion.
plays out, man. All right. I think that's it. I think we've covered everything we needed to talk about here.
We got
AEW.
AEW doing
Oh,
another 4 hour show tomorrow.
AEW has another 4 hour show tomorrow. They did one last week. Looks like they might be in a little trouble with their TV contract too. Things are shaking up at Warner Brothers, which has them a little on edge. So let's see, man.
Somebody else will pick them up.
I don't know, man. It's kind of hard. I mean, not many entities who want to have wrestling as a part of their package.
Somebody will take them if they have to. I think they're pretty set with TNT, but somebody else wants them out.
Well,
I mean,
TNT and
Amazon
TBS
would
are
take
all owned by
them.
Warner Brother. We'll see how it plays out. This happens from time to time,
Mhm.
but I can see the fear is real because the last time this kind of a shakeup happened, WCW got
They
sold.
got some big matches coming up tomorrow. They're trying to make it a big show tomorrow. It's almost like a mini pay per view on free TV. It's kind of what they're doing with this 4 hour stuff.
Well, it's fight or fight, right? It's like a
Yeah,
two.
so we got what, Omega versus Okada, and then
Yeah,
there's Strickland versus Osprey.
yeah.
So they're throwing their big boys out.
No, it should be some fun, man. 4 hours is long, but I guess you know
Too
what?
long.
It's okay. It is what it is, man. Um, with the days being longer, doesn't seem as long. I guess if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it's not as dark.
It's not as dark.
But yeah, there'll be a couple good matches on it. I'll watch a bit of it.
All right. We'll check it out. All right, guys. My name is Bobby Sampson. He is Mr. Chance Michael with baby girl right beside him. Want
And
to
the
say
word is
hello?
great.
Say hello to the world.
And in the words of the
Okay.
great AC/DC, those that download, like, and subscribe to the podcast, we salute you.
We do salute you. And guys, remember, nobody is bigger than wrestling.
Yep.
Okay, now that I got that out of the way, faith, patience, hard work, just keep working hard. Have faith, have patience. Things will come your way. Dispel the naysayers. Forget the people who don't want you to win because they can't win themselves. They don't have the guts. They don't have the gumption. They don't have the glory or the self respect to put forth the effort that you're willing to put forth to succeed. Never forget that. All right, guys. And remember, the weather is beautiful. So enjoy it. Be
Oh,
safe. If
yeah.
you're going to drink, drink. If you're going to do whatever you want to do it. Just be safe. That's all we ask you. You're old
Mhm.
enough. If you're old enough to drink and booze, and you're old enough to make the right choices.
Totally agree with that.
Samp and Chance are out. We'll see you on Thursday.